In this video, I will make a custom typography tab design. And to begin, I will press T on the keyboard to get the text tool. And I will type the word custom typography. I'll type the word custom and then I will click again and I will type the word typography. I'll zoom out a little bit and I will change these fonts. Click on this and I'll shift click on this object to select them both, and I will press T and I will change the font to Mongolia. I think it's not a free font, but this is a free for personal use font. You can get it on FontSpace, I think. So once we're done with this, what I want to do next is I want to replace some of these characters with custom characters. So for example, I want to replace this M, I want to replace this G, and I want to replace this R as well. So, and I may replace this C as well. So to do that, come over to your Windows search bar and type the word character map and click on that, and you will open up this menu. From the fonts right here, from the drop down, you want to select the font you're working with, which is Mongolia for me. And I'm going to look for a different version of M, and I'll just scroll down a little bit, just a tiny bit. I scroll down. This version of M is what I'm looking for. So once I've found the version of the character I'm looking for, right, or the alphabet, you will click on that and then you'll press select. You'll copy that. You'll close this out. You'll minimize that. And you'll double click right here. You'll remove that character. Press Ctrl V and you'll replace it with that. And I'm just going to do that a few more times. So I'll come over and I'll replace the G as well and the R. So both the G and the R I will replace. Come back over to the character map menu and I will look for my G, which is this, the G I'm looking for. I'll remove the M and select that. And the R I am looking for that is the version of R I'm looking for. So I'll select that and I will copy them. I will close out this menu and I will press Ctrl V to replace them. Press Ctrl V to replace them both. And so with that done, I want to adjust the spacing of some of these characters right here. So I'll click on this object and go to Path, Object to Path, Path, Break Apart. And that gives me this, it fills out these cutouts. So to fix this issue of filling out of these cutouts, I'll click right there and I will manually select all of these letters, all of these alphabets, and I will send all of them to the bottom, because the cutout, we want the cutout to be the top object so we can differentiate it from the rest of the object. So I've selected everything. I'll send all of that to the bottom, and now I'll click right there where that cutout is. I click right there to select that cutout and I'll shift click on this object and go to Path and Difference. And I'll just repeat that process. Alright, so with that done, that is pretty much done. What I want to do is I want to space these out manually, since I don't like the spacing on these. So to do that, I'll click right there, I'll hold Control on the keyboard and I will just slide it to the left like that. And then I'll click right there, I'll hold Control. That got messed up. I'll hold Control and I'll just slide this to the left like that. Alright, so without all of that done, I just want to fix this part right here for this G. I don't want these two touching right here, these two elements. So I'll click on this G and I'll press N to get the nodes tool, and I want to select all of these nodes and I want to drag them down. So I'll click right there and I'll just go over these nodes like that. And I'll just push them down. And if you get something like this, don't worry about it. It's because we didn't select this node. So if I just drag this down, that gets fixed. I'll click on this node and I will actually just delete that. And I just want to make this a little bit smoother. Alright, so with that done, I think I'll just finalize it right there. You can obviously make some small adjustments, right here to make this a little bit smoother, but I'm not going to do that. For this tutorial, I just want to get into the more important parts of this tutorial. So let's go ahead and get into the next step. I'll click on that, I'll shift click on that, select them both. I'll come over to the align and distribute menu and I will center them on the vertical axis. Sorry. Before I do that, I have to unionize all of these objects. So I'll go to path, union, and I'll click on that, I'll shift click on that, and I'll center them on the vertical axis like that. With that done, I will click on this object and I will shift click on this object, select them both, I'll go to path, I'll do that again. I'll select them both, I'll go to path and union to unionize them. With that done, I'll press Ctrl D and I'll duplicate these objects. I'll give it a black fill color and I'll send that object to the bottom. Then I'll hold Ctrl on the keyboard and I will press the close parenthesis button a few times to give it a thick offset, a really thick offset. That seems good, but I'll go just one or maybe 2 steps more, maybe 3 steps more. So that is about a good thickness for what we're trying to do. So with that done, I will duplicate that object. I will send that to the bottom and I will adjust it with the keyboard. I will slide it to the right like that and I will slide it up. Maybe a little bit lower. Maybe a bit to the left. There is good. Somewhere there is good. Right. So with that done, I'll zoom in. I'll click on this object, on this black object, and I'll shift click on that object as well. With them both selected, right? If you can't tell which one this is, you can change the color of these objects as well. But with them both selected, come over to extensions and generate from path, extrude between 2 paths. Select polygons and click on live preview. And then just click apply and you close out. Alright, so with that done, I will click on this object that we just created. I'll zoom right in, as you can see. I'll click on that object. I'll zoom back out and says group of 140 objects in layer 1. I'll press Ctrl Shift and G to ungroup all of that. And I'll go to path and union to unionize that. And I'll zoom right in. As you can see, this object has a stroke. So with that object already selected, you will hold shift on the keyboard and you will select our original offset object, right? Right, so select your original offset object with that object selected. So with them both selected, you will go to path and unionize both of them into one single object. And with that done, it will now look smooth and exactly the way we want it to look. So with this, I will select over everything. I'll select all of these objects, all of them, and I'll press Ctrl D and I'll duplicate all of them. With all three of those objects selected, I'll go to path and go into a union. I will unionize everything into one single object, and I will send that to the bottom, and I will give that an offset by holding Ctrl and pressing the parentheses button, the close parentheses button a few times. I'll change the color to white, and I'll just give it a really thick offset. That might be too thick. So I'll give it an offset of about that size, and we'll fill in these spaces, these empty spaces. But before I do that, I will click on this object and I will press Ctrl D to duplicate that. I'll give it a different color and I will just nudge it to the right by a few steps and then upwards by a few steps to get that look. And so we're almost there. I just want to color these in now. So I'll click on this blue object now and I'll give it a pink color. I'll give it a pink. I'll give it that color. I'll click on this black object and I will give that. Okay, so before I even move any further, I missed something. I want to click on this black object and I'll shift click on this blue object. With them both selected, come over to path, unionize both of those objects like that, and then select that object and give it a dark color, really dark color. I'll go ahead and select that. I'll go with that color. Looks good enough. And I'll click on this white object and I will give it a light gray fill color. So a very light shade of gray like that one. Maybe, no, 20% gray is good. I just want to fill out some of these spaces. So I'll press B to get the Bezier pen and I just go around this object like that. So with that done, I will zoom right in. I'll click on this white object. I'll press D to get the dropper and I will give it the same shade of gray. I'll just give this a nice plain background. I like that one. And with that done, our design is complete. Thank you for watching.